Hey guys, this is Joe B, and I'm working in the bathroom here. It's a windy day out, and Mustang's gonna have to wait. Right now, I'm replacing a toilet, so I'm about halfway through, and I wanted to talk to you guys about toilet replacement. When your toilet's broken, you can either decide to repair your toilet or replace your toilet. Most of the time, the replacement, just full out replace the whole thing, is going to be the easier way to go. So you're going to take your toilet off. The first thing you're going to do when you do that is you got to go down in the side of the toilet and undo both bolts. One on this side, and I don't know, you can probably see it better than I can. And one on this side. You undo the bolts, and then you you pull the toilet up. When you pull the toilet up, you're going to see that the bolts were right here and right here. Those are the toilet mounting bolts, and they're mounted onto this 2-inch pipe. The flange. There are two sizes. This is a 10-inch, and it's an older distance from the wall. 10 inches from the wall is what it means, and they call it the rough in, this hole, and it's 10 inches from the wall to the center of that circle. On mine it is. Most of the time on newer houses it's going to be 12 inches. So from the distance from the wall, you get a measuring tape. You measure from the wall all the way to the center of the circle, and you'll know the rough in for your toilet. Now my toilet was leaking, as you can see from the back. On the tank it was leaking all the way down, so I had to scrape it all out. Excuse me, cat. I had to scrape it all the way down. I pulled off the old ring and all that junk. I decided to fix this toilet because I had a 10-inch, and the 10 inches were either out of stock and not shipping because it's Christmas time, or super expensive. So I bought a toilet bolt kit, tank to bolt kit. It came with the bolts and the gasket. So the bolts are pretty simple. It comes with 2 long bolts, 2 washers for each side. So 4 washers total, 4 grommets, 2 for the inside and 2 for the outside, and then these nuts. So what you do is you insert. I had to cut. I used my reciprocating saw here. This guy, my long saw with the reciprocating blade, and I cut the old bolts off because they were rusted. Okay, so see these bolts? They went through these holes down here and came out, and this thing was just rusted out. All right, so I had to use the reciprocating saw on both sides to cut them out. When you do that, make sure you wear eye protection. You don't want anything flying in your eyes. I'm serious about that. So I cut the old bolts out. Then you slide the new bolts in. Before that, I used a little bit of this. It's like a 60 grit, scuff pad. It's an 80 grit scuff pad. I scuffed up the area to get all the rust and crud off of there, so that the grommets and the washers would hold nice. So as you can see from the inside, see the nice shiny bolt down there on the other side? Those 2 bolts, see how I've got the rubber grommet under the washer? The bolt presses on the silver washer and presses the grommet down into the ceramic. If you don't do that right, and you torque this up too tight, you can crack the tank. See on this side? I've got the rubber grommet, then I've got the washer, then I got this bolt. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tighten these up real tight, and then you slide these 2 down into here. 1, 2. And then on the bottom, I wish they'd given me 2 more washers. But on the bottom, you screw these in on the bottom right here. The bolt will come sticking out on the bottom. Screw it in, nice and tight. And what you want, this is the new washer. What you want to do is you want to watch the spacing. Here, you know what? I got to tighten these up, so I don't have a lot of time. But you push this down. It's kind of sitting in there. You're holding it with your hand. As you're tightening these up by hand, you're tightening up. You watch the spacing in between. It'll get smaller and smaller. On this side, it'll get smaller as I'm tightening this side. On this side, it'll get smaller and smaller. The one thing you don't want to do is you tighten it so tight the tank is pressing with strong pressure, tank ceramic to ceramic. Okay, that's bad. If it touches, fine. If it's very close, fine. But you don't want the ceramic to be touching the ceramic and then you keep going, because you're gonna probably crack right here, or you'll crack something, but you'll make it inefficient. Other tips to point out: buy a new wax ring. Buy new bolts for so those 2 holes, 1, 2. I bought new bolts. Always buy new bolts. The other thing to keep in mind is the length of the bolts. These are, what are these? Two and a quarter. You may need longer or shorter bolts depending on how high your flange is out of the floor. Mine looks like it's sitting about ½ inches higher than the tile. In some cases, your flange may be recessed and not flush. It might be deeper. If that's the case, you might have to get the 3 or the 3 and a quarter, a longer bolt. See that old piece in the corner there? That's the little cap that went on top. It's nice to be able to put those on, but if not, don't worry about it. The other thing that you should replace while you're at it, and think about this before you take your toilet off, these little shutoff valves are usually rusted or cruddy or non-functional, so that when you do try to shut the water off, it doesn't shut off all the way, and this little bad boy drips the whole time that you're away at work thinking about this problem. So shut the water off and at least swap this out, or if you start the project early, buy a new one. Mine is ½ inch coming out of the wall to the 3/8. And when you buy it, make sure you buy the absolute right one. Okay? Mine is ½ inch to the wall, 3/8 where it touches the braided hose. The braided hose, you might as well replace that too. Some people get the regular plastic one, some people get the steel braided one. If you have to, take it to the store and get the exact same length. This one looks like about 1 foot, but I got the 16 inches on the braided when I bought a new one. Especially if you're going with a brand new toilet, you want to get a slightly longer braided hose because you're not exactly sure how it's going to mate up. So that's another tip there. Get your brand new shutoff valve, your brand new braided hose, your brand new tank bolts. Last tip is buy a new wax ring. That's this guy. The wax ring is that cruddy thing that is on the bottom of the toilet when you pull it off. Cat's gonna look at this one too. I got this wax ring. Most of the time when you buy a new toilet, it comes with a ring. You buy those like $100 toilet kits, it comes with a ring in it. Here's the ring. So what you do is you stick this ring on the bottom of the toilet, and then you put the whole toilet over the tank bolts with the ring on, and then you press the whole thing down. And then, oh look, it came with bolts in it already, so I got 2 pair. Check it out, Cat. 2 pairs of wax ring and bolt. Okay. Alright, Peep says we got to finish this up. We're going to finish this up, buddy. You ready to finish this up? Okay. Alright, this is Joe B finishing up toilet replacement repair in the bathroom, and we'll see you later.